Today is May 30th, 2024. We are interviewing Lev Ayzenberg. My name is Esther Finder. Mr. Ayzenberg is in Boca Raton, Florida. I am in Henderson, Nevada, and the language will be English. Thank you for speaking with us today. What is your name, sir, and can you please spell it?
My name on today is Lev, L-E-V, Ayzenberg, A-Y-Z-E-N-B-E-R-G, Ayzenberg.
What was your name at birth?
Yale. In Jewish, my name was, when I was born, was Yale.
Could you spell that, please?
No, I cannot. I don't know.
Yale,
Yeah.
like the university, Y-A-L-E?
Maybe, yeah, Yale.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. But the same last name?
The same last name, Ayzenberg.
And where were you born?
I was born in Poland.
What part of Poland?
The part not far from a big city, Brest. It's the name of the city is Vlodava.
And when were you born?
No, after the war, but make the birth certificate, so say June 12, 1933.
And how old are you today?
And today, so I will be in June 12, I will 91.
The name of your town is Vlodava. You just mentioned it.
Yeah, I was born in the city of Vlodava.
Okay. Is that in what part of Poland? Is it close to Germany? Is it close to Russia? Is it close to Ukraine? Where?
Was close to Germany. To Germany, yes.
And what languages were spoken in your home?
Yiddish.
What was your father's name?
Isaac.
And where was he born?
He was born, I have to check, I know. I have
where?
In the same city, Vlodava.
What do you know about his family?
I know it was a big family. He had many brothers, sisters, what I know, and I know he was one from the youngest in the family. And I know what my grandma gave him a part the factory, what he was continue working. Wood factory. This is what I know about him.
So that's what he did for a living?
Yes, in Poland.
What was your mother's name?
Esther, your name.
Where was she born?
Also in the same city, Vlodava.
What do you know about her family?
About her family, I remember what she have also a couple brothers, and they have a store where they were selling sugar. She was buying sugar big bags and selling for people so she was making a living.
How many brothers and sisters did you have?
I have 2 brothers and 1 sister.
Were they older or younger?
Everybody, they passed away already. I'm the youngest.
What are some of your earliest memories from before the war?
Before the war, my memories, I remember when to our house used to come a rabbi and teaching me in the Jewish tradition, alphabet. And this I remember was when I was in the age 6 or 7. This is what I remember. And I remember we used to go to my grandmother, to my grandson, and have a good time, like in the holidays, in Pesach, in something. We'll celebrate together. This I remember.
What religious traditions did your family observe?
Jewish traditions. Jewish. Now, we were very religion to the Jew. Religion, very. I was very special, tzitzis, if you know what I mean. Tzitzis.
The prayer shawl,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. I remember I was aware.
Did you have a favorite holiday? You mentioned Passover. Was that your favorite?
For me, is favorite is Passover more, because in that time it was a favor and a little tragedy for me, because my father was killed during Passover time. I remember in April, the Germany killed him. So it's always,
this was during the war?
During the war, yeah, 1943.
Okay, I'll ask you more about that in just a few minutes, okay? You'll tell me more in just a minute. You mentioned your education a little bit, that you were taught at home? Is that what you said?
Yes, the revival coming to home, to now house. Even.
And when and why did that stop?
Stop when I when I was 5 years old, and it stopped when the war started.
What do you remember about the relationship between the Jews and the non-Jews before the war?
I remember what in my father's factory was working not Polish people, and everybody was happy, I know, and he was paying a certain amount for in Poland zlotys, and everybody was happy. This is what I remember. And I remember across us was also a Polish family, and we often coming to us, talking to each other. But they was nationality of Poland, Polish people.
Do you remember any anti-Semitism before the war?
Not really.
So you were in Poland. How much did your family, you and your family, I know you were the youngest, how much did people know about what Hitler was doing in Germany? Were you aware?
We only, maybe they know some, I'm not sure, but when Germany occupied Poland in 1939, September, this is what I know.
So you don't remember your parents talking about Germany or being afraid?
No.
Before?
If they talking not in front of us, maybe not to scare us, I think.
Is there anything else you would like to share with us about life before the war? Any special memory? Any good memory? Any bad? Anything else?
Good memory. I remember what when Shabbos, when the Shabbos out, we was going outside and looking. His tradition. If came the first star, then they able to give food to eat. So we was going outside, the kids together, and was saying to my mother, "Oh, the star came." So she was able to, but she will give us something to eat. This I remember, and I remember we was prepare a lot matzah in our house. Before Pesach, everything was not kosher, was out from the house. And during Pesach, we ate only matzah ball, matzah soup. This I remember. And chodl, if you know chodl in Yiddish, chodl is you make potato, you put in an oven, you put this Thursday, but you're not allowed to cook it Friday, Saturday. So the food was ready when the sun come out. So the mama was taking the chodl called.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she gave us pieces. This I remember. And I remember now when every Friday my father invite poor people, and we were sitting together, we and the people, and have good time, drinking a little wine, praying. This I remember. We're always on a Friday, Shabbat, was 3, 4 people. They're poor because my family, they was more richer. My father was making money in the factory. This I remember like now.
How did the war begin for you and your family?
The war began, well, like I remember, it was in 1939, September. Germany occupied one part Poland, and the second occupied Russia, Soviet Union. Between Soviet Union and Russia was like a peace in the beginning. So Poland was divided for 2 countries, Germany and Russia. And I remember my parents the grandparents that was living in part was German occupied. But my father, the last hour, he was thinking what to do because his factory was, and the part was Russia occupied. Small town Tomashovka. And we came the last 2 hours before the border was closed. This I remember like today, and I remember soon, in 2 months and less, they confiscate everything, my father's factory, everything, and we was not able to live in the area. They sent us out from the part was Russia occupied, and 500 kilometers closer to Belarus, if you know a country, Belarus. This was, yeah.
Let me make sure I understand. Your family was removed from
Vladava, removed. They confiscate everything and they sent us out from the town.
To where?
Deeper in Russian place. That time was a republic calling Belarus.
So your family was split. Your grandparents were under the Germans?
On Germans, and we was on the part in Russia.
What do you remember about the early days of being under Russian occupation?
I remember when it was. I remember was Russia occupied. I remember I was start to go in school, and the school I remember was many soldiers they were sick, they was wounded, and a lot was blood. I remember was Dory.
Soldiers from which side?
Soldiers, Polish soldiers. They was killed by Russian or by the German, or wounded by the Russians.
Did you have any contact with your family in the German side?
In the beginning, we was going to the river, was calling Book the river, and they used to come into the river, and we were gonna see each other in the beginning, but later when they sent us out, so no any connections. But I know from my sister what she was older, and after the war she tried to go to Poland, and she find out what everybody from our family, from my mother's side and father's side, was killed in a ghetto or in concentration. Nobody survived, no survivors.
The whole family, mother's side and father's side gone?
Yes, was no survivors, nobody.
So let's stay for just a minute more. You are in the Russian occupied area.
Yes, right.
End of 39 into 40.
One.
How did it change during that time?
No, we was in the Russian area, and I remember like now my father, my mother, they ordered a horse with a wagon, and all what we were able to take in a wagon. And we was go 3-4 days by horses, and we came to a city it's called Lakhva, the city Lakhva. We rented a house, and my father soon started working, but not for the governor, because Soviet Union everything was belonged to the government, nothing was private. And he was working till the war started. And the war started.
Unknown caller.
Mine. And the war started, German, the war started June 22nd, 1941, 4 o'clock in the morning. The German
That's
jumped.
when,
The German.
when you say that's when the war started, can you elaborate? What do you mean?
The war started in June 1941, at 4 o'clock in the morning. Germany was take the was start occupied Russia, and the Germany came to our. We was not able to evacuate because the Germany came already. Maybe in 10 days, the army was already in our town. This I remember like now.
What was the reaction of the people around you to this invasion from Germany? Did anybody expect it at all?
It was not expected because between Soviet Union and Hitler was make a pact of what they will take all Europe countries, but it was fake. For Hitler was a fake. So even a Russian army was not ready. They were sleeping. In summertime, June, a lot was on vacation. So they was able running fast, miles go to the capital, Moscow. So like I say, they came to us maybe in 5-7 days. The German came already in our town. It was calling Lakhva. So people was not able to go out from the city. So everybody was in the city, was right away occupied by the Germany. But in this city, Lakhva was like maybe 5,000-6,000 Jewish people. And I remember in the beginning that they tell us to wear yellow star. This I remember like now what I was wearing. In a couple of months, they make a ghetto. In the house where we was living was in a part in ghetto. In our house, what we were saying, was maybe 3 or 5 families together, because they clean up many streets and bring everybody to two streets.
In addition to the star and the ghetto, did they impose forced labor on the Jews? Did they do anything? Did they create a Judenrat? Did they do anything else?
Soon they open the Jewish people they was taken to work. We was working on the road because the train was blown up by the Russian. So to fix and everything was made a Judenmacht. It's like an office, Juden, you know what I mean, Juden. So
Jews,
they was taking people to work. They was taking my father, I remember, my brother was the oldest, and person like I remember, they was also make order for the 10 years kids. So what we was doing, cleaning the soldiers, what they was wearing, shoes. That time was everybody wear shoes, and they used to give us a small piece of bread. Not everybody, some have some hearts. Not every German was a murderer. Between the German was a nice people, but they was in army. They were soldiers. This I remember.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
So you said they made a ghetto.
Yes.
Was the ghetto closed? Did it have a wall, or was it an open ghetto?
No. The ghetto was, we have a fence with razor wires. But our house, what we was in, was close to the fence, very close.
Can you tell us a little bit about life inside the ghetto? What was that like?
So I remember like now, they catch my father, the Germany. We was living close to a small river, like in smert means like dead. And the German with the girls already, they was staying one part river and another part was staying another part river, and they put them to go in the water, and they was calling him to go to them, and the other was calling to come to the other side, and he don't know what to do. I remember I was sitting with my brother was killed, and we was trying not to cry because to find out what we related to the person. And later they cut his bird. He have like a Jew have a bird. They cut the bird, and he was a good swimmer. So he jumped in the water, and we was thinking he dead. But later, 6 o'clock, maybe 7 o'clock, nighttime, he came to us. He came. He was. So this I remember one. In this kind of episode, I have many, but this I remember very well. And this remind me also when my sister was working in the German soldiers. She was at the time 16 years old. No one from the German soldier fell like in love, and he tell her what he's coming 6 o'clock. Know what he need from her. So I remember like now we was hiding from him, and we was going far away in the part ghetto. And so he came, the German. He was looking for her, but we was not in the house. So he left. This I remember also. And many more. I've got a memory. I have a memory.
Maybe you'll share more of them, but let me ask you also, in the ghetto, how did you get food? How did you get medicine?
People was dying. People was dying. In our house was so many people. A lot of them was sick. They passed away. Was no any medication, no medicine, and no food. Which kind of food we used to have when they was going out the city, working on the railroad. So they used to take something and to share to the people, domestic people. They used to give 1, 2, 3 potatoes. This is what we ate. It reminds me exactly what my mother make blins from the skin, in a little flour. And she make a blind for everybody. And I was so hungry. I remember like now. And I stole one blind I stole. To not to see what I ate, I was running away in some in like toilet. Toilet was outside, and I ate the blind. Mom was saying, why is only 6 and not 7? So I was quiet. I was afraid to say, but I was so hungry. I was so hungry. People was dying, not from the hunger.
Was there any violence in the ghetto? Were Jews being beaten in the ghetto?
There was. I don't think so. Was violence in the ghetto? No, I don't think so.
Who organized life in the ghetto? The Germans had the orders, but was there a Jewish organization inside the ghetto?
It was a Judenmacht was a Jewish organization. They was make an order to if the German need 20 people, so they was calling to the Jewish organization Judenmacht, and they make an order. Today, you have to go to work. This kind of organization was.
Do you know who was the head of the Judenrat?
His name was Lapatin, I remember.
Do you know anything about him?
I know what I know about him. He also survived, and later he was in the Partisan. You know Partisan area. So he was also head on a group Partisan. His name was Lapatin.
Okay, we'll talk about the Partisans in a few minutes.
Okay.
You talked a little bit about the Germans with the Jews. How did the Germans get along with or organize or whatever the Christians, the non-Jews in your area? How did they work together?
How like I know a lot not Jewish people. That time when the Germany came, there was more related to German than the Soviet Union. Collaborators, yeah? Collaborators, yeah. Was a lot of them. So for us was much worse because they was domestic people and they know everything, anything. If German was a soldier, so they was domestic inside. So the collaborators was much worse than the German soldier.
You mentioned that Jews were taken for forced labor.
Yeah.
And you mentioned your father was taken and your brother. Did they ever come for you other than the cleaning the shoes and the boots or whatever?
A couple of times I remember they make order for the kids, and I was going to clean the shoes, remember, and make the bed for them, for the soldiers. And they used to give us a small piece of bread. Not every, again, German was, some of them have a heart. They was trying to give you something to eat.
What did the Jews in your area know about how other Jews were being treated by the Nazis in Poland and, did you know anything?
No. We know only when we was in ghetto, what around many cities, the pogrom was already did happen, and the Jews was killed. So we was know every day, any day they will come to our ghetto, because outside the city was already was preparing the roads to put us, to kill us and put in the roads.
When you say pogrom,
Yeah.
that's usually, excuse me, usually a term associated with the Russians. Are you talking about what the Germans were doing? They were taking the Jews?
Yeah.
So the Jews in your area were aware that other Jews in the area were being killed?
Yeah.
So did they ever consider resistance or escape?
Now this was one day when the ghetto was surrounded with the police in Germany. We in the morning, because our house was close to the wires, we heard the talking. So we know already, so it came out time. But today they was kill us. We know already. And it happened daytime, maybe 9 o'clock in the morning. They came inside ghetto, the Germans and the police, and take us out from the houses to put everybody together. And at that time was a couple younger people, and they start burn the houses. So in the part ghetto was the Germany police, and we are. So there was a little confusion. They don't know what to do. So people was staying closer to the wire. We broke the wire and we start run away from the ghetto. So from the ghetto ran away many, but later they find out what happened. They put on the roofs rifles, and they was shooting because there was a land. A lot was killed. Survivors was not more than 60, 70 people. So when we was running, nighttime we came to one river, called in Belarus, Pripyat. So my father find this one fisherman, and he was able to bring us another part, the river. And from that part we start going out. Daytime we was hiding in the bushes, in the forest. At nighttime we was trying to take a walk. We was walking one from another apart. We was thinking that if they're gonna shoot, they're gonna kill one. The second will survive. So we was going more than 2-3 months till we came to the area was already small group partisan.
Okay, before we get to the partisans, I have one or two more questions. So Tell me about your escape from the ghetto. What was your experience leaving the ghetto under those circumstances? What happened to you?
It happened with me. I was also, I was, when they were shooting, I was wounded in my back. And I remember I was bleeding, but no, was not so bad. I have the mark on today. So we was continue going, and I was like, I remember like the youngest, and they were saying, you see the boy, he's not stay away from us, he's always with us. And my shoes was already ripped. So it was not like we was going on the bushes. It was not easy. I remember. It was nothing to eat, nothing to drink. So we was making a small, like a small, like water, mad water. We were drinking the water. To eat, we was finding in the forest some grass. Nothing. In now, when we was going further, we came to one small town. Was night times, like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. And we came to one lady, and we asked her to give us food. She make potatoes for us, and kefir, milk, and she gave us, and she said to us, you have to go as soon as possible out from the town, because she saw one gentleman was take the horse, he was running to the German to say it was here is a group of Jewish people. So we was hiding all night in the forest without any, was cold, September in Russia is cold. We was not able to make a fire because we was afraid the fire will show where we are. So in the morning, we will know how to go further. In the morning, my father and two more gentlemen try to find it, ask the domestic people how to go further. So they say, right, 10 minutes before, the German was here and asked if he see the Jewish people. So my father came to the forest, and we started running, and we lost. All night we were staying in the water, because in Russia, in Belarus, is more that time was more mud than dry area. We were staying all night, and in the morning we decided to go further. But we was not know how to come in. So all night, all day we was walking. Then we came to another village. And I remember like now the lady lets us sleeping under her shade. Shade, yeah? When you keep some. And we were sleeping, and she gave us something to eat. And she tell us how to go further again, deeper to the partisan area. I remember like now. And
I want to ask you, before you go further, who was with you? You mentioned your father. Who else was with you?
Was everybody ran away. My father, my mother, my sister, my brother, one more brother, and me. 6. All our family was ran away from the ghetto. All family.
When you were fleeing, when you were running away, did anybody Did you run into any anti-Semitism from the Russian people?
Not really, no, 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 no.
And
One
you,
second. Was some of them that, like I tell, he sit on the horse and yeah. So there was some, but not not everybody. Percentage was very low.
so you had some people who were willing to help you. Do you have any idea why they were willing? Were they trying to help you, or do you think maybe they were trying to fight the Germans, or was it both, or was it something
They,
different?
when we came already to the area where we were staying, to the area, I remember like now, one gentleman bring us to his house, and we were staying in his house maybe a week. He gave us food, we ate, and then he said, "No, you have to go. I can't hold you. I'm afraid." He was not afraid. He was afraid it was somebody, another neighbor. He was saying, but he hid the Jew. So we left his house. It was hiding in the forest. Sometimes we was coming back to the town. And this was till 1943. In 1943, you know, the United States, England opened the second line front. And from one part, from east, the Russian was pushing the Germany, and from the west side, United States was pushing. So the situation for the Germany was very bad. In the Partisans, that time, there was blow up echelons with ammunition there. So there was a very bad situation. At that time, they make a special group in Germany, SS, if you know the word, SS. And the idea was to clean up the partisan area, because the partisan was for them, there was blow up every day, every night blow up, and going to the cities, killing Germany. So the idea was to destroy partisan area. And that time when they came to the areas close, we was against hiding in the bushes. We was staying in the bush. But they, on the second day, they came inside the bushes, the Germany. And when they came, they find us. We was like down on the floors. It was something March or April, 43, 44. And they find us again, the Germany, and take us out from the bushes to a dry area. And in the area was already my father, my mother, my brother, and they find that my father have a passport from Poland. He was saying what he have kids, and they ask him, "Was you in Germany?" No, Jewish language a little close to Germany, so he was not saying what we were saying, like what I see you now, and so they kill my father, the mother, and my brother was killed. And us, three of us, it was many more, they bring us to a shade. And we stay all night. And I remember my sister was saying to us, let's go closer to the wall. If they will burn the shade, we was able to die right away to die, not suffering. But what happens, Beshert was saying, in the morning they opened the door and they let us, everybody out from the shade. And they sent us, they was going to us They was on the horses, and they was pushing us to another town. To another. In that town, they make a concentration, domestic concentration. Domestic was like 300 people, 350. We were staying approximately 2 months, till Russia army liberate the area. So survivors was me, my brother, and my sister from the whole family. So later, with us was one also lady, Jewish lady from another town. So when they liberated, so with this, she said, let's go to the area where her parents was living. Everybody was also killed. But when we came, the house for the parents was empty, so we were staying in the house. And soon they admit me to foster house. So where I was so I was staying from 1946 till 1951. The last time I was in age, so I was working in a foster house, try to help the nurses to share food, to make something. They were sending me to the city to buy bread, but this time was everything limited.
Okay, I'd like to go back and get a little bit more information on some of the things that you already mentioned. You said you went to find the partisans. Did you actually live with the partisans for a while?
We was living with the partisans.
Can you tell me about how you first connected with the partisans? When was the first time you found each other?
This was in the beginning, 1943. In 1943, when we came to the town, it was already partisans. So we started helping the partisan, like what we was doing, make socks for them by hand, make gloves for the so cleaning the area, preparing some food for them, because they was staying daytime, but nighttime they was going to fight, to blow up something. So we was staying in the area, helping.
And this was your whole family? At this point, your whole family is still alive?
Was still alive, yeah.
Okay, and you were the youngest?
Yeah.
Did your father and mother and older brothers, sisters, whatever, did they do different things with the partisans?
My father, he was also a fighter in the beginning. He was going together with the partisans. He was and my oldest sister, the older sister, she was also going with them in nighttime to fight, to kill the German. But I was the young, yeah.
And what was the living situation in the partisan camp? Where did people sleep? How did you get food? What was that like?
We were sleeping with no houses, making like small, like from wood. Was on the we sleep on the, how you call it in English, grass, dry grass. It was sleeping. It covered with what you have, like your coat or something. It was cold. People was dying from hungry, from cold, from different kind of diseases. Many thousands was dying.
And you and I had spoken before about the leader of the Judenrat, and you said he later became a partisan. Was this the same group,
The
or
same
was it a different group?
was this group plus more together from different kind towns.
So your family was accepted in right away, no problem.
No problem. Yeah.
And it was the same leader as was leader of the
La-
Judenrat.
Yeah, Patin.
And how many people do you think were in your partisan?
No, the beginning was not so many, maybe it was 50, 70, but later, closer, was it's called big part, is brigade, it was like 300, 400 together. But it was divided for different kind part. But altogether was one, like 300, 400 people, 500 people.
Were there times, again, still with the partisans, were there times when the Germans almost caught you or were close to you and you had to run? Anything like that happen in your experience?
In the area, there was no German, but like I tell, the Germans start coming to us when the situation and the battle was very bad for them. So they start coming to the area where was the partisan.
Can you give us some examples of some of the successes that the partisans had? What were they able to accomplish that you can remember?
I remember there was going to the town where was the Germany burned the Germany heads. I remember that my father was coming from saying what they blow up train. They put mines under the train. I remember when he was saying what they did. I remember.
Did the partisans get help from the locals?
Yeah.
Or were the locals,
No,
they stayed
the
away?
local helped them. Sure, they helped. The local helped. The local was not enough food, but they share. And
How
also,
long would you say you were with the partisans from beginning to end? Approximately how long?
approximately a year close to 2 years. A year and 8 months, maybe.
You mentioned a few minutes ago that you were captured by the Germans.
Yeah.
And they killed your father and your mother. How did they kill them?
They shoot him.
Can you give me the names of your brothers and sisters and tell me what happened to each one? Start from the oldest.
The oldest was my sister. Her name was in Jewish Fanya. Freidel.
What happened to her?
She passed away she came to United States in the 90s. To the United States. I was already 10 years in the United States. So I sent the visa, I sent the visa, and she came to the United States with her daughter and husband. But
okay, who was the second in your family? Who's the next child?
The child was my brother, Grisha.
His name?
His Yiddish name was Herzl. In Russian, they was calling him Grisha. His name was in Jewish was Naftolia Herz.
And what happened to him?
He also died. He came in the 90s to Israel. He was staying.
So he survived.
He's now.
He survived the war.
Yeah, he survived. Yeah.
And next in your family, who's the next child?
That was my brother, Avrom.
And what happened to him?
He was killed. They killed him.
When they killed your parents?
Yes.
And who was next?
The next after me.
You're the youngest.
Yeah. Yale.
Okay, so thank you for clarifying that. I wanted to make sure I got what happened to each one, who survived and who didn't. So you said you were taken and put in they made a concentration camp. Is that correct?
Yes.
And what was the structure that they put you in? Did they have you in a group of buildings? Was it in one building? Was it out in the field?
This was before the war was a school. So they bring it to the school building.
Why do you think the Germans didn't shoot more of you? Do you have any idea?
I know. The idea was, but we was not looking like we was very. The clothes was not from our house. The clothes what they gave us, So they was not thinking that we are also Jew. Because when they killed my father, I was staying, and he was, meaning not to say nothing and not to cry. So they was thinking we're not a Jew. This is why we survive.
The camp that they created out of the school, did it have a name, this camp?
I know that the town was Laskovici. I don't know how to spell, but I know in Russian Laskovici.
And did you have to work there?
No. We was not working with. Was all not working nothing. We was sleep on the floor, have a lot lice. I remember millions. People was dying in the camp. Many. Nobody pay attention. Passed away. Life is alive.
Do you know who the other prisoners were?
They was not everybody was a Jew. Was not only not Jew. Was I would say maybe was not percentage. Maybe only was 40% Jew. The rest was domestic people was living. They was also concentrated. Why? Because they was in the area of the Partisans. So why there was also young. Some of them was older, but they was thinking that this is the partisan. Why they hold us in the concentration? But in 2 months the Russian army came. Maybe they was planning us to send to Poland or some or Svensim or something. But for them was no time. The time was not very short for them.
Oh, you said the Russians came. When the Russians came, were any of the prisoners in this camp interrogated by the Russians?
Yeah.
What was that like?
I'm interrogated. I'm not followed the word.
Interrogated. Did the Russians ask them a lot of questions? Were they suspicious about the prisoners?
No.
Anything like that?
I remember, like now, in the morning we woke up, and the Russians came, and everybody was happy, kissing them. The soldier, the lady was with us. She said, "If I'm gonna see a Russian soldier, I wanna kiss him." She started kissing. She was in age 18 to 19. But they liberate us, and soon we start going to this town where the lady was living. The area when I was in a foster house, it's called Lubin. the town called Lubin. And today this is White Russia.
Are there any other experiences from the time in the ghetto or with the partisans or in the concentration camp? Anything you want to add? Anything that's come to your mind that you didn't mention yet?
Not really. I have in my mind a lot, but maybe not necessary.
You don't want to share? That's okay.
Not what I don't want. This is not maybe make change.
Okay.
Not necessary.
When the war was over,
Yes.
did you go back to observing Jewish traditions and the Jewish religion?
No. No. First I was in the foster house. No.
Were you aware, or do you have any memories of any anti-Semitism from the Russians after the war?
Yeah. When I was already married in the city is calling, and today this, if you are city in Belarus, Minsk, this is the capital, and my wife from the city. So antisemitism was very high. And I remember like now, we was already have the permission to go out from Soviet Union. I remember like now. So my son was, he's now here. He was in that time 17 years old. So somebody was saying to a Jew, Žid, if you know the word Žid. So he was not an easy boy. So he punched him, the guy. So we was living in the same building, but we have apartment in third floor, and what he punched him was in the first one. So his father came to us. Why he beat him? And I said to him, don't touch, please, because they would not let us go. We have already the visa. So we was afraid. And I remember, like, also was the last couple of months, I was going to buy something in the market, in the bazaar. And I was going at the train back, and two Russian, they was drunk. And one to another in Russian, maybe this is a Jew. The another was saying, not a Jew. Not a Jew, a Jew. So I decided to go out from the train, and I started walking by myself, not to hurt more. So antisemitism was higher and higher. Antisemitism I was feeling when I was in the Russian army.
I'll ask you about the army in just a minute. In the post-war time, I mean, when the war was ending and people were starting to build life again after the war, were you aware of anything like an anti-cosmopolitan or a doctor's plot or anything else about the Jews? Okay. When did you join the military?
I joined in 1951, November, I think. November, September.
And did you volunteer or were you taken?
I was in the Russian, it's not, you have to go to the army. And I was 4 years in the army, 4.
And what did you do in the army?
In the beginning, I was in a special school, like training school. And the the 3 years later, they keep me in the school because I was a good soldier. So I was in the school teaching the younger was coming every year. And they gave me some like sergeant. And I was 4 years in the same battalion. In very far from deep Russia. It's called Ural. It's a part far away. And the school was the battalion was tank. So I was teaching them how to drive a tank, how to shoot, how to do. 4 years, and the last day when the mobilization, demobilization. So I remember like now, the head bring us all together, the soldiers, to say wish, and he said, doesn't matter what Lev was a Jew, doesn't matter, but he was not worse than we are. This came in my mind right now. It was 5 or 6 sergeants to appreciate what we was good not. So he said everybody, but say about Lev, he's a Jew, but he was not. He was a good soldier, but he have to say, but I'm a Jew. And I remember his name. And I remember his name, Matvienko, Ukraine. He was the captain. I remember like now.
What was your final rank?
Sergeant. Three.
Sergeant.
Yes, sergeant.
Did you become a member of the Communist Party?
No.
What did you do after military service?
After military service, I started working a couple of months in the same town as my sister was. But for me it was tough because that time everything you have to do by hand was not any. So I moved to the city, capital city, Minsk.
And what did you do in Minsk?
In Minsk, I started working up in like in the beginning, working a big plant. They would make a part for cars, so in the beginning I was learn. Later I was making part for the. Now it's going conveyor. That time you have to every part you have to make it by hand. So I was do the part. Working in 3 shifts, three shifts was daytime, second day, and nighttime.
And how long did you stay doing that?
I was staying like 2-3 years. 2-3 years.
And then what did you do?
Later, I get sick. There was nothing to eat, so I decided to change my profession. And in the same town as my sister was, I came back, and I started learn to be a barber. So I was working a year or two barber in the small town, but I was not making enough money. So I decided to go back to the city. I was course, and I take 6 months course to be a stylish. So I was able, and I was working like a stylish person, coloring, make it permanent, make it seeds, and I was working till 1968, but 1960 from the. I have a lot of customers to coloring, the cut I was making by myself, not like to buy. So I start bleeding. So I decide I'm not able to work anymore. And in the city was a school. So I moved to the school, and I was like a teacher to the kids. Was coming to show them how to cut hair, how to make it work. So I was working till we left Russia, till 1979. So I was working from maybe 8 years in the school.
Why did you decide to leave the country?
To leave the country is one idea was our son. He was 17 years. He already was registered to go to the army. And that time Russia was fighting with the war started with Afghanistan, and he was registered to go. So for me it was very important how to survive him, not to go. So it was one idea. And everybody was saying, Lova left, you have to be running if you decide, because they were taken to the army. And to leave Russia, was a list who they have to sign, different kind of agencies they have to sign. And when I came to the agency, what they taken to the army, and he was start looking, he said to me, no, let him go to the army. You can, if you want, you can go out, and he have to stay. And when his time is coming, then he's able to go. But what they was doing, they were sending special battalion, well, like some secret. So it was a limit 10 years. So I was thinking what to do. My son, and today, he said, Papa, thank you, only you able to, with your cop, you was able to say something. So in that time, they was taken to the army twice, springtime and autumn time. And he was born in 1961, December 26. So he was to go army not spring, winter time. So when I came to the agency and I explained him, he was looking at me. Then he was going to another person higher, and he signed me. He gave me permission. So everybody was, only Lova he was able to. I was thinking what I have to say. So, and today, for so many years in the United States, he always remind me, Papa, you saved my life. And later I came to visit. My sister was still in Russia, and I came to visit. So all his friends was killed. I came to the cemetery. Was my wife's father passed away. I came. So close was graves, 20 years, 21 years, killed during the war in Afghanistan.
What did you say that got your son out? How did you persuade them?
I said to them, but he's not supposed to go now. We left Russia in April, so he's not supposed to go in April. He's supposed to go only winter time, like September. So this saved me. But he was born not he was born the last day in 1961. So this was my idea, and I saved him from there.
Did you have any trouble getting a visa to get out or to come to the United States?
We left Russia in April 1879, and we came to United States in July 3rd, 79. We were staying. They was checking us in Austria, Vienna. And from Vienna we was going to Italy. Italy we were staying approximately 2 months. Every day we have different kind of tests. If you're sick, if you drink, if you was connected with the Russian, if you are spy, or if you, like you say, if you are was a communist, not a communist, they was checking. Hopefully, I have permission to go to United States. And we left in July 3rd by plane. The organization was HIAS. You know the organization, HIAS.
Yes.
We say HIAS. I gave the nation and today even to them. And we came to United States, to New York.
Why did you want to come here?
To United States? It was two choices, to go to Israel or to go to United States. The visa was made to go to Israel, the visa. But when we came to Austria, was a special agency from Israel. So in that time, United States opened also the line for immigrants. So we decided to go not to Israel and to United States. Why we came in 1979 to United States.
What were your expectations of America, and what were your first impressions?
No, first, at that time it was, I think, was more calm, the United States, like compared to the day. No, the beginning, I was trying to find any job. I was working a couple days and there, but hopefully I find a job in the city, New York. We live in Brooklyn, if you know part. I find a job in the city, New York, and I was working post office in a company, the New Yorker magazine, from 1980 till the day we left, to the last day, 19 years.
Did you experience any anti-foreign sentiment or any anti-Semitism in the United States?
And we're talking about the time or today?
It's in the time that you're here in the United States, either then or now. Any anti-Russian or any anti-Semitic?
Now the antisemitism is much higher than it was when we came. Much higher. In the beginning, I was not feeling what I'm a Jew. In the beginning, I was the same. But today, no, we staying in the city Boca Raton, Florida, is more calm. If I have a granddaughter in the city New York, or my son is in Los Angeles, so this.
I think you froze. There you are. Are you an American citizen?
Yeah, sure.
When did you become a citizen?
No, after 5-6 years when we came, 79, so maybe in 82, 84, I'm not sure. I have the third passport already in the United States.
What does it mean to you to be an American citizen?
Was mean for me to be American citizen. I feel what I'm apart from United States. I feel it. But I'm interested in United States, and I like to United States to be a nice country, and I would like to more calm, to bring less violent one today. And I'm listening to the radio, the Fox News, or CNN, and This is what I. But and today is a little the time special one is now the war in Ukraine, the war in Israel is a little
I
change.
want to ask you, what are your thoughts about the war in Ukraine?
I thought the war in Ukraine is Putin is going the same way like was going Hitler, the same way. Russia, if you know the history, Soviet Union was divided in 1990s. From the all countries, there was a Soviet Union. And when the United States was Reagan, and Russia was the secretary Gorbachev, so from the Soviet Union, they make many countries. And today, like say, Ukraine, one from the biggest, Ukraine, Latvia, Estonia, there was also in Russia, Soviet Union. So his idea, Putin, to build up again Soviet Union. So the war in Ukraine, what now in Ukraine, this is propaganda. What they not teaching, they not let people talking in Russian. This is not so fake. It's not true. Like I heard now, came even to Boca Raton, a lot of Ukraine people. They speak Russian well. Ukraine, not really. They open now a big store in Boca Raton. And I was in the store. The workers is Ukraine, but they speak in Russian. So this is the part.
October 7th. What do you think and feel?
What I have a feel, for Israel was what happened, not expecting. So why was killed already 120 people, raped, taken in capture people, and in Israel is not the first time. The story show many wars. I remember the first war, 1966. I remember when I was working when I was working in the school, and I was in the school, a little like a school. I was a manager, and came to us to me one. He was the director. He was out from the army, and he called me Lev Arkadievich. May I talking to you? I say, why not? I was not expecting what Israel for 6 days win the war. In my mind was Jewish people not fighters. Now changed my view. This I remember I was still in Russia. Changing. So on today, what can I tell you? The situation is not so great, bad, but I pray and I hope what the country will survive. Will die many more people. And every day is killing 5, 6 soldiers and more. And they take to capture a lot of them dead already, old people. No, this is so now the support Israel doesn't have, even from United States, not really. The situation in the United States is election day, election coming. So our president, he don't know what to do. And I understand the situation. But I know what Israel will survive, 100%. They know how to fight, and they know. Like I tell you, For him was surprised for the sixth day they win the war. And in 1966 was 6 countries was around Israel, and they win. So I believe the war will end will be a victory, but they're gonna lose a lot people.
Is there anything that we have not talked about that you would like to add before we conclude?
No, I think we have a nice conversation, and if you understand my English not so great, but if you understand, I'm very happy. In home I speak with my wife in Russian. To my daughter in Russian, to my son, I tell him in Russian, but he answers me in English. But he lost. Why? Because he started 5 years in Los Angeles. And his family and his employees, everybody, he's a one Russian. So he lost. If you're not using, you're losing.
I have one more question for you. What message do you have for people who will watch your interview in the future, 50 years, 100 years from now?
Yeah, I have, what is?
We'll look at the pictures later in just a minute.
No, so here the students gave me appreciation, what I explain him, what I tell him about how I survived, how was, and they learn a lot, and a lot of them they're saying, we came home, and I hug my father and mother, and I'm saying how important they are for me now. Like when I tell them about what my parents was killed. So the new generation, I would suggest them less to watching the cell phone, using the cell phones, less to watching TikTok, more concentrate in history, in learning. This of the, and then we will have a success. But if we not concentrate in cell phone all day, this is not a good idea. So I've like survivors, like on today, is not so many, and every year goes less and less. Any survivors, Holocaust survivors, is on today not younger than 85. So how long we can live? 10 years more. So very important to share your history to the young generation. Like on today, my daughter, my son, they know about Papa. So my grandchildren, they know. And when I was going to the school every year, so I share with the students. And this is what, like a picture one. This is the people.
We'll do the pictures in a minute.
Okay.
We do them separately.
Okay, all right. All right.
So you speak to students about your life experience?
Yeah, ninth grade students. 9th grade.
Do you do it every year?
I was doing every year. I stopped now because I'm too young now.
Thank you very much for speaking with us today.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
What are we looking at now? What is this document?
This is the document of what they prove what they know. My family and my parents was killed during the war.
And where did you get this?
I was in Israel in the 90s, so I find it to one person. He was also in the Partisans. He was still that time alive, and we was going with him to notariation, and he signed what he know us, he know me, and what the parents was killed, and my brother was killed during the last day on the war.
And is there a date on that? When the document, is there any date at all on that? If not, that's okay. It's from Israel, you said.
From Israel, yeah, from Israel, 100%.
And can you tell us your parents' names, please?
My father's name was Isaac, mother Esther, and my brother was killed, Avrom.
And the last name, Ayzenberg.
Ayzenberg.
Thank you, Lev. And who is this, please?
This me, myself, on the picture.
Your name?
My name is Lev, last name Ayzenberg.
And when was it taken and where?
The picture was taken in the town Lubin in 1951, a couple of months before I get to the Russian army.
And what country is Lubin?
And today is White Belarus.
Thank you. And what is this, please? What's this document?
This is a document show what I graduate in Minsk, like a special school, technician school. I was able to teach the students. I was able to teach in the schools, the students. And the picture is my Lev Ayzenberg. Also, my father's name, Isaacovich, because my father was Isaac.
Okay, and this document is from what year? Was that 1977?
Yes.
And what country is it from?
Belarus.
Thank you. And what is this picture?
The picture was, I was going to school, sharing with the students how I survived, like Holocaust survivor.
Do you know when the picture was taken?
The picture was maybe 2016 or 15.
Okay, and where was it taken?
Florida. Palmcrest School, the school called Palmcrest.
And which one are you, sir?
I'm the sixth on the picture, the sixth from the left and the right, in a white shirt.
Okay. And can you give me your full name, please?
And my name is Lev Ayzenberg Isaacovich.
Thank you. And what is this?
This is a document what I was going to the schools talking to the students. They gave me a honor document. I'm saying Lev Ayzenberg.
And what year was this from?
2016.
And it's from one of the schools in Florida?
Yes, in Florida.
Thank you very much for speaking with us today. This now concludes the interview.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a nice day and a nice life.